for all we've just said about Angry Titans, there is so much that you can say about their opposition today. Snakes, formerly Mosaic, went down into Trials, fought their way back up in glorious fashion, and now find themselves here back in Contenders with the opportunity to redeem themselves. They kept hold of the same coaching staff. A few of the members of last season are still here as well. They're showing, and they all want to prove that it wasn't a massive failure last season. They did have the right members, just the situation wasn't spot on for them.
The Frankenstein's monster of Contenders relegated teams come back with a beautiful face of asking. They're looking to finish the season and get themselves that Mrs. Frankenstein to marry and love. But Zapray already getting that first kill onto A-Fox after a clever little wraparound from the Angry Titans, still sticking with these tank-heavy compositions, rolling out with the goats rather than the quad.
Yeah, kind of a standard thing, and you will see a lot more of this. They said themselves, quad tank is dead, although we've been proved by a couple of teams that's not strictly the case. Specifically, Eagle Gaming, if you've seen any of their games, that's the way they tend to go. Snakes clearly anticipating it, though. They rolled out with a Ryan and Zarya of their own and took the Pharah too. As it stands so far, though, Angry Titans the ones coming out on top.
Good initiative from the Snakes to be able to pull that one off. Zapray and Asking have the counters. I mean, I think Asking's going with the McCree just in case they took a Pharah of their own. As a backup, they're already getting into this conflict. No one to be found, but Luddy with the environmental kill of the Heiko, and Elivo able to take Zapray out on the sky. And you can just see the tracking from Onigod, tracking them straight off the edge of the map as they go for a reset.
Good choice to reset there, because either way you're going to donate a good 1,000 HP's worth of ultimate charge, which is the last thing you want to give to this comp. Let's not forget the tank-based compositions, they tend to excel when they have ultimates online because they run at you, they press a few buttons, most of your team tends to die pretty quickly.
High Noon available for Asking. Zapray's already got his Kodak. Instead, he's going to burn the one he just got. He's charged up
nice
High
shield.
Noon. No one to be hit by that. But Christopher and Heiko are doing all the work anyway. Lolsish and Elivo, that powerful duo from Angry Titans being shut down by their opposing men. Kodak, he's having a moment onto A-Fox, and also Christopher still getting on the board. Kodak again taking out Elivo, so this is going to be a Snakes turnaround as Kodak keeps finding these kills out of nowhere.
I like the ideal thinking here behind Asking playing on the McCree, and we saw it earlier on with British Hurricane. They played exactly the same thing here on University. A lot of the intent against Angry Titans is just to stop that rampage when they charge towards you. Even if a second for a stun is more than enough time for your team to respond and focus down a key member. Last time they managed to catch out A-Fox, that Moira is a huge part of keeping this tank competition rolling. Here comes this ultimate combination.
Graviton Surge trying desperately to get the barrage, going to follow it up, but it's going straight into a sound barrier, and Onigod's going to cut Zapray out of the sky. Asking, meanwhile, still on the back line. He's going to deal with the tank duo this time, really disabling one of the core components of Angry Titans and making sure they're able to hold out on this point just a little bit longer.
Lots burnt by Snakes there, but they do manage to hold true. But Angry Titans are lurking. They are angry. They want this point back to call their own. Here comes the High Noon.
Look at that. The clock struck midday and no one to be struck by the bullets of McCree. Instead, he's going to try and do this all manual rather than having the auto-aim active. Christopher's sitting on a shadow right now. If Angry Titans go for the aggression, he could turn it around on them, but they're getting in the face. No answer from Christopher yet. Elivo pulling up the double with the self-destruct, and Luddy getting another kill onto Christopher, this time with that sound wave.
Good stuff being had to make that work with just the Coalescence and the self-destruct. They managed to take it back 66% just before Snakes would catch up to them. But they got to keep an eye on Snakes. They're about to get the Transcendence online. They will have at least something to contest the Titans with in the next fight. On the other side, they're also looking towards their own Graph Surge.
Well, 75% and ticking for Angry Titans. It's starting to come down to the wire for Snakes. Transcendence, Earth Shatter, and they're about to have that Graviton Surge, not Graviton Surge, sorry, Barrage available. Lots of support options available for Snakes with their ultimates from the supports. But Angry Titans, like you said, they got the Graviton Surge from Onigod, they got a Shatter of their own. Coalescence about to come up for A-Fox. This Zapray on this barrage, we need to be very mindful of what's going to be able to blow through this damage that he's surely going to put out. There's the Shatter, goes in low, gets Elivo with the D-Mech, and he flies at him, but turns away incredibly fast to make sure he doesn't get caught out. But the Coalescence giving him a hosing, only finding Kodak, and it still goes on. It's now expired. Asking, mixing it up with the Hanzo, building that ult very quickly, fires up the Storm Arrow, really punishing that drop of the shield from Lolsish. Hasn't got the Dragon Strike, but it's about to come up, and Zapray, still from above, can't get the reposition because of the protected barrier, still putting a lot of pressure on to Angry Titans. They're forcing back out. Snakes flip it over at 99%.
It's really interesting seeing how this dynamic plays in, because since I spoke to the coach behind We Have Org, and he said to me, when you see a team run Pharah, we tend to run Doomfist because we know that we can move and kill faster than the Pharah can kill us. It feels very much so the same here against this 3-3 because Luddy's just speed boosting his team in. They're getting the kills on the ground in the 6 versus 4 before the Pharah can make a huge impact. It's working out for them sometimes, but Angry Titans is still holding the advantage. Now they've got to fight for the point back.
Run straight into the Graviton Surge. They're doing this again, but it's asking now has access to that Dragon Strike, cuts down 3 immediately, and Angry Titans are going to miss out on this push attempt. With 10% remaining for the Snakes to win this round, it's becoming increasingly difficult for Angry Titans to come out with the first round win.
They do have someone downstairs who can get up here and touch if needs be. They've got a team that can roll in, they've got ultimates on side, but they've got to touch it first and foremost. Yes, they have. Overtime is now in play. Snakes have a couple of ultimates online of their own. There comes the shadow from Christopher.
Sound barrier as well to increase the team's durability. Christopher throws out the shatter, but Elivote and Loltish doing what they do best and taking control of the territory. Here comes the self-destruct over the top. Heiko cannot be healed through that damage. A Transcendence will not be covering you today. Angry Titans take control of the point at the last minute and take the first round of Oasis.
Very, very close and good stuff from both sides so far. I was kind of worried this series would turn into a bit of a rollover with Angry Titans storming their way through, but it's good to see that Snakes came here meaning business today and intend to show them what they're made of. We saw in the last series it came down pretty close on the first map. It's been the same for both series today, to be honest with you. Now I'm curious to see what Snakes try and do because they're aware that Angry Titans are rolling this 3-3. How they choose to respond now, they can go towards things like the double projectile like we've seen before. They can go towards the double sniper if they want to. We've seen that come out quite a lot. There's options on the table here, Tridd. That's the beauty about this meta, is there are always options available.
Variety is the spice of life for both of these teams. Let's see what they're going to roll out with. Angry Titans, they're often known as a team that sticks to their guns with their composition, so they're going to keep on the goats. Meanwhile, Snakes are going to change it up with this Tracer and Widowmaker combo that we see a lot of teams running.
I don't know if I really like it here. It's very, very good when there's Widow duels, and yes, it can get pick-offs, especially when you're a player like Asking, but if Angry Titans play this smart and they play as a unit behind the shield, they're in a good spot. They're going to change. This is a lot more what I expected to see. I wanted to see the Hanzo, I wanted to see the Pharah. They've both come out. With
Christopher's increased level of play, they're going to let him solo tank on this one. He's got the confidence to do that now after his improvements. Only got getting the first kill of the round, taking out Kodak, so it's put Snakes on the back foot. Angry Titans, they have control of the point, but they're not capitalizing on it just yet because they're still trying to deal with Snakes. But Asking, he might be able to pick up on that mistake, starts going aggressive. Angry Titans get the capture, but they lost a crucial member of their 6-man composition.
So get a bit of time. They're a bit late out the gate though, so give them a bit of time to try and get themselves set up. The only worry they've got is what happens when Asking gets charged down or Kodak gets charged down by the Titans. They don't really have a response to it. Here they go trying to get into Kodak in the back line.
That's a terrifying only got at 100 charge. Just takes a right click for Kodak, and I think Christopher's identified he might be in a little bit of trouble if he stays around, so he leaps to safety. Can he have the power in his laser cannon to take Heiko out of the sky? Heiko's not going to take that chance. He moves away, but the rest of Angry Titans have got enough kills to maintain control.
It's where I've always got concerns with this setup. You saw it happen there just as we said it. Kodak being run down by Angry Titans thanks to the Lucio speed boost, and there was no response. There is no one able to save him. There's no Zarya shield. There's no shield to put up from a Winston or a Reinhardt. He's completely left out to dry, and then you're relying on Christopher. He's then stuck with only a Mercy who's going to be on the map more likely than not, looking after the Pharah. So what does he do? He has to run away, and the whole thing falls apart.
Dragon Strike and Barrage, both DPS ultimates available for Snakes. The Pulse Bomb will surely follow with Zapre's Rate of Accrual. Here comes the Dragon Strike through the map. Elivote says hello and goodbye to Heiko, takes him out of the sky. As Asking still up to the side, uncontested, has a free range to shoot down. Taking off a couple of targets, not capitalizing on it yet, but Elivote goes after Cave after the resurrection onto Heiko. So they have one aerial member, only God's going to fix that. The skies are now clear for Angry Titans. They don't have to worry about having any bombs dropping on them today. 75% and ticking, Snakes yet to get on the board.
Snakes looking to try and stack these ults together. They've got 3 coming online. Asking already getting back towards that ultimate again. He literally used it at the start of the last fight. That's just how quick this guy charges those ultimates up. Big question here, Tridd. Is it enough against the stack that Angry Titans have got with their ultimates? Answer is most likely no.
Snakes are going to have to hope so. They got 10% to make a move. Graviton Surge for Only God. Just needs to wait for the right time to strike. Wants to capitalize on the panic. Still putting up the charges. 100 charges isolated. The barrage finds Luddy. No one else, but he's still able to operate. Graviton Surge gets thrown out. Self-destruct right in front of that, and Asking the only victim for it. So Angry Titans getting the kills back. Hagen having a lot of difficulty taking out Urki until he finally lands that last shot. Sound barrier comes out to hopefully seal the deal for Angry Titans, but there's 2 supports and a Pharah still in the skies. They're buying enough time for reinforcements to hit the point. Angry Titans need to be more efficient at taking out these members. Lolsich gonna find Kodak. Christopher comes back and get a D-Mech onto Elivo. Snakes still have an in here, and they can just keep the momentum going. Onigod gonna find Cade and Heiko, asking the only person with a return kill as Lolsich cleans it up. Angry Titans take Oasis 2-0.
Not a bad stall, using the high ground to their advantage because, of course, with triple tank, there's not really too many ways of getting onto that high ground to join them up there and bring them down. But nothing really to contest the actual point itself. We saw them get on there a couple of times, and it just didn't work out for them here. Bit of a static comp from Snakes there that could have done with changing up, I felt, after about the 50% mark hit out. But they chose to ride it out, and Angry Titans walk away the easy victor.
Snakes favouring damage over beefiness. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you map number 2. Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders. We're about to jump into map 2, and it is, of course, Angry Titans versus Snakes in the battle for first place. And already, Angry Titans, they've drawn first blood by taking over Ilios.
Quite convincingly, it's not Ilios, by the way, it's Oasis.
I fell into the same trap again! How do I keep doing this?
Look, it's because I care for you.
I know, you have to point it out.
It's cool.
Second time today, man.
That's right, mate. Either way, it was a bit of a slaughter. 2-0 going across quite convincingly to Angry Titans, to be honest with you. Snakes struggling to really find a way back in, and now they've got to try and find the solution here on King's Row.
Hybrid map type, of course, in the order of play that we have in Overwatch Contenders. Not sure what to expect from here. We've seen a lot of double sniper today already, and you're giving me the finger guns, 2 of them to be precise.
I got you covered, fam. That's what that's saying. You're going to see an Orisa, you're going to see a Junkrat, unless they opt to go for the double sniper, in which case it's risky. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's hope it pays off. And there you go. Currently the hover. We'll give that time. On the other side, what are we going to see? We might see a number of things. We've seen teams run full tanks, just charge the point down and say, this is our point. Get off and try and force a fight for the Orisa to drop onto the low ground and have to scrap with you that way. We've seen teams run dive and try and contest it. Big risk against running dive when there's a Junkrat on the other side is he makes it incredibly hard. If a Winston jumps in and gets trapped up, he's stuck behind the Orisa shield, he's going to die very, very quickly. They also have the concussion bombs as well to make sure that there is no way they can stay there for too long. They'll also be shoved back onto the low ground. The real question mark comes for me for the Snakes comp that we're seeing come out here in terms of the Orisa Junkrat is when you start losing that lower ground, who drops first? You can drop the Diva down, but she can get focused incredibly quickly.
Well, I spoke to Christopher last week about Orisa being picked up, and he described it quite nicely. He said, look, Orisa's really good when you don't have to worry about these rotations around certain points. In reality, if you're holding the high ground to begin with, you just drop down. That's not a substantial rotation for your enemy team to capitalize on the transition, which a lot of teams like to do. So I think Christopher has a lot of confidence in the Orisa pick, and I think he has the confidence to actually pull it off. Let's see how Snakes play this out as Angry Titans are going in with that full dive composition.
Not opting to go with Widow though, which is what we usually see. Instead going for the Hanzo, at least asking that is maybe that one flanking sniper potentially. At the minute he's currently with them all, but of course can relocate very quickly. He's a Hanzo after all. That's a lot of dings onto her big fat head.
Only got trying to split the attention, already coming up behind the entire Snakes roster, getting a few dinks and using the recall to get himself to safety. While this is going on, Angry Titans have started to get the progress on point A, already hit over the halfway mark, and Snakes are nowhere to be found on the point. That's 2 firsts they've given up. They have to jump down now, and Christopher jumps straight into his death. Doesn't look like that Orisa Junkrat combination has worked out for him here, because they're just 1 kill away from capping point A.
I completely get the theory behind this comp, and I think I agree it's a great idea, but we have yet to actually see it work. Teams that are playing dive still just find the way around it and will just constantly kind of buffer you back into that back corner. Once you're there, you have one angle for your Hanzo or Junkrat to be able to lay down some damage. That's directly onto the point below you, so immediately you're in a pressurized situation. Genji can dash through, get multiple kills. You've got Winston who can hit 5 targets at once with his auto. It's rough. Very rough, and I'm yet to see a team really execute it convincingly. The best we've seen is double sniper on that first point.
Snakes mixing it up yet again, going triple support, 1 DPS and 2 tanks. So giving Heiko that flex position, able to come in with Christopher Zapre taking up the Brigitte responsibilities, hoping to sustain through a lot of the aggression coming out from Angry Titans. And of course, Brigitte's going to be a great asset to help with the counter dive as they go in a little bit too far. And we've been talking about this, the payload is about halfway through the street space. Urki coming down from above with the blade. You can't stun that. Zapre goes for asking as well. Needs one more. Heiko's D-Mex. Gonna let A-Fox pick that one up. And then A-Fox again onto Christopher. Only gonna be Only God. Spin around with those pulse pistols. And this is looking a lot like Gibraltar for Angry Titans again.
What is it with King's Row being incredibly quick these days? Because it seems to be a lot of teams have got down the let's start pushing and never stop. It's just a constant train on the go all the way towards the very end of the map. This nice little cheeky flank from Only God as well. He's hanging around waiting to find an ideal target. He wants support. He's found the Zen.
Can't get the 1 clip, and he doesn't even get the second because Elivo's beating him to the punch. The rest of the teams are clashing over the payload. A little bit more substantial resistance coming out from Snake. Asking, follows out the high noon, goes for the 1, goes for the 2, only gets the D-Mech, unable to get up with a kill. Bloody brings Urki back from the dead, and Asking's going to press forward using the D.Va to block some of these shots and pull up that defense matrix. Momentum successfully killed for Angry Titans.
Very smooth the pre-play coming out of Asking there. Even though he managed to get mini D.Va with the ultimate, it was enough to force everyone else to panic and back away because they knew the D.Va was out of mech. There he goes getting up Lulsish. This is what Zapre and Asking are basically being tasked to do here, is deal with the dive. That Winston comes in the backline, or the Genji arrives, or the Tracer, stun him up, kill him, keep our backline alive.
This could be a little bit of KGG's influence being shown onto the team. I'm sure if they were going to have a plan, he'd pass it on to Snakes. And they're executing it to perfection in terms of stopping this dive. They just need to keep it up. They're playing well. They've had mechanical moments of brilliance, and they just need to keep that level of play consistent as comes in. Urki, he's got a Dragon Blade. This is going to be the real test for Arkin. Can he shut this down with a splash bang? Apparently not, because Urki's already found Kodak. Arkin instead opting to go for Lulsish. Pulls out the high noon to deter the aggression from Angry Titans, and now they're going to push on the counter-attack. Looking to get that D.Va off the high ground. They're going to send their own up there. Heiko going to clash with Elivo. Asking, found Urki. Only God, meanwhile, taking down Zapre. He's not having that much of a great time at protecting his backline because now he's going on to Kodak. It's going to have to be Heiko coming back to make sure that Only God isn't given free reign on the backline. While that's going on, they somehow let go of the point, and now they've got an extra couple of minutes in the final stage of this map.
See, back in Season 1, Tracer was the kill-all hero. Go to the back line, get the pulse bomb, 400 damage, bam, lots of people die. This season, even though it's a 300, the role has changed a lot. Tracer is now picked almost exclusively to distract, to keep the backline busy, to get the team's attention on you, so that your snipers, your other DPS, normally a Hanzo or some other high-damage DPS, is then given free reign. They're uncontested and can really lay things down into the frontline enemy team, enabling your whole team to push in. You're seeing that being played out by Only God brilliantly, although he's now swapped over.
Self-destruct's being traded. Oh, Elivo comes out with a 3-1 scoreline. That could be reminiscent of how this series looks if it keeps it up like this. Angry Titans on the brink of victory or completion of King's Row with 0 resistance apart from Asking up in the rafters. Here comes the reinforcements. Cave and Zapre jumping onto the point. Christopher's here as well, but Urki gets the shield bash, There's a lone tank being sustained by a Valkyrie Mercy, but there's too many bodies on the point. Kodak actually finding Lolsish in the chaos, so there's still a bit of resistance coming out. The Dragon Strike going to deter everyone, split up the action a little bit. We're spectating Lolsish when he's on the grave. Not the right action, but only God and Angry Titans pulling it back. Erky hiding in the back, and Zapray takes him out.
He literally just popped his ultimate.
So close, and Christopher falls. Angry Titans going to complete. Luddy! What are you doing?
Bloody hell, mate.
Oh, that was the low hanging fruit.
That's the old season 1, that was. Jesus, that's a throwback. It was really unlucky for the Brig. They're lucky they ended it out there because the Brigitte was on 33 HP, 99% ult charge. It ticked to 100, press Q, died straight away.
Oh,
didn't even hear the voice line. That's just how unlucky Erky was.
Mother of God.
But they made it work. Angry Titans managed to complete with 2 minutes, 41 seconds in the time bank. Now we get to see Snake's best attempt.
Wonder what they opt for, asking. Zapray could take on that double sniper on the offense rather than opting for the defensive strategy. Angry Titans, I think they want to run double sniper on their defense. Wouldn't surprise me. You got talented DPS there, you got a solid tank line. Let's split the attention of Snakes, make sure they don't know where they're going. Pick them off in the chaos.
Going for the Rhine and the D.Va here, so not really going towards either the dive tanks or the standard Rhine Zarya, instead opting for a bit of a hybrid here. Elevo, very, very useful in terms of getting from high ground to low ground and vice versa if needs be on this D.Va. Gives you a little bit of control. It means you can leave that Rhine on the high ground if you want to. Very, very similar to the Orisa. Just means you're not as weak when you actually drop onto the point and you know that a dive-based comp is just flanking the living hell out of you.
Zapray running Soldier. Not a lot of that in the meta. I know. We'll give it the 30 seconds, but I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out of it. They're going to run triple DPS. They might want to run with that Soldier. Angry Titans, as expected. Double sniper composition. Only God's going to be staying with the team. I imagine they're going to send Erky over to the opposite side and just start pop-shotting out of that window.
The best attempt we've seen at this one was when we saw Copenhagen Flames with Naga and Danye. We had Naga in the back window above the archway itself. We then had Danye playing where Widows most play, off to the left-hand side of where they used to before counter-Widow duels kind of became a big thing. That was really effective in being able to divide a team's attention, but it seems here Only God wants to make sure he has that Peaker's advantage from behind the shield there, where he's not going to get popped out by the enemy Widow. Well,
Zapray's got that far instead, so they want to play close together. Zapray's going to have their number. Already firing out the rockets, and Lolsish, as expected, has that shield up ready to go. Rather than being so divided, they're actually sending Apox around to the side. You can have the Mercy pocket him as well to get a couple of right clicks, but here comes the dive from Snakes onto the high ground. Zapray's going to be there for a little bit more disruption. Damage boosted rockets being sent down the corridor. Going to be dinked a couple of times, but not enough to take him out of the sky. Erky moving around to the hotel. He spotted someone on the back line. I think he's got a flavor for Kodak, and he's going to want to indulge, but Lolsish beats him to the punch. Flame strike to the robot. Snakes on the back foot, but not out of this fight yet, as they do have territorial control over Angry Titans. They're now fighting from the high ground. The earnest is on Snakes to get up there and contest them, but Only God going to do it from afar with Widowmaker. Asking now being sent back to the spawn room a little bit earlier than planned, as they're going to rotate and give his attention to the skies. They found an isolated Christopher. I don't know if they want to pursue that kill and get rid of him. He's going to be able to sustain so much with health packs, but it's taking a lot of attention away from the point in the fight as the rest of the Snakes are moving in to try and buy a window for Christopher to regroup. Valkyrie being used by Luddy is taken to the skies. Elevo will find Christopher, so no regrouping today. Zapray very close to going down. Erky's going to finish it off with the Storm Arrow. It's Only God getting attention from Heiko. We'll get the D-Mech, fires off the shot. Won't hit the D.Va, but the stall is there for Angry Titans. Oh, no, it's not.
Long gone. Good hold so far by Angry Titans, and Snakes, they had a really good opportunity when they had all the high ground covered out and everyone was trying to rotate back round to the side, but Chris kind of got the wet feet, had to try to, not wet feet,
he went for a leisurely stroll.
He went for a very leisurely stroll off towards second point, had to get himself the Mega to get back into the fight, but Elevo had his number, so the whole thing kind of fell apart from there. But the whole strategy of forcing them onto the low ground, Angry Titans that is, and then Snakes holding the high ground, that works wonderfully.
Only God playing very far back. Christopher takes out Erky. He's already lost Zapray, so he had a kill to his name before he went down. Christopher, with the support of Heiko, going to start chasing out more of this backline setup that Angry Titans are relying on. Self-destruct goes up into the air, no kills. Now it's time for Heiko to send his in. He was taken out by a flame strike in the meantime, so sacrificing that self-destruct for his life. Lolsish doesn't complete the charge, but gets himself into that room very quickly. It's Erky who picks up the kill onto Zapray.
Snakes now got hold of that Transcendence, which can be a pretty big one for them if Urki does bring out that Dragon Strike. And him getting picked up at that final fight was kind of a worrying point for me, because you rely on so much of the DPS coming out of the Hanzo. On the Onigod's side, you're playing, of course, as the Widow, and your job is more to get the pickups. You're not consistent DPS, you are burst DPS to low health targets generally. You rely a lot on the Hanzo, some on the Zenyatta as well. And when you get picked up either of those, it's quite worrying.
Earth Shatter from Lolsish, but he's about to go down. Christopher goes in with the Goomba Stomp and the hands to give it to Lolsish. Now isolated from the team, he's getting reinforcements fast. It was looking very slippery for Snakes. They've got control of the point, and they're going to extend their life on King's Row, moving into the escort section.
Oh, nice things. Asking with 2 big headshots there, but at this point when they've already caught the point, maybe not the most significant right now, but at least give him a nice gentle nod and say 2 nice headshots there, my friend. Now they're going into the streets phase. I'm curious to see if Snakes choose to mix this one up. As it stands right now, no, they're sticking towards the Winston and the D.Va. Expected to go maybe towards the Rhine and the Zarya not too long after.
I wonder if Angry Titans are going to press forward. We saw in earlier series that a lot of ground was conceded to even out the spawn distance. But I think now that they have regrouped adequately, and Onigod getting a pick on Dezachu, that's going to give Angry Titans the confidence to push forward a little bit more and try and hold this in the streets themselves. Urki going up high, fires out the Storm Arrow, gets dinked a couple of times, but not enough to take him down. Still got the Dragon Strike in his pocket, and this is very aggressive from Angry Titans, pushing right up to the initial choke on the streets phase.
This is the problem where there's only a few entry points in towards where the payload is right now, is that you've got to send your D.Va and Winston through there. With no big meaty shield to soak up a lot of that damage, it's all Angry Titans affair. They can dictate where and when these fights happen.
Onigod again getting the kill on Asking. Forcing out the resurrection from Cade. He's going to dash through the rest of his team. Dragon Strike going to fly through. Urki getting a D-Mech and a kill. Heiko being taken away from Snakes, so going to reduce that beefiness they have in their lineup.
Time for a switch, I think, from Snakes. They are literally being pinned in here to the first point. Angry Titans rotating ults out quite well. Lolsish about to get his Earth Shadow up, and Afox now got that Transcendence. So once again, if things do go a bit haywire, they can afford to mix things up. And finally, Snakes are going for that change, going to a much tankier base composition.
Yeah, getting out the Reinhardt and D.Va, but they're putting Asking on the Hanzo. Zapre going to be that quasi-tank support. Zap is going to have that backup in the front.
Standard 3-3. Cave here maybe could have switched off to something else as well, but choosing to opt with it now. Both the damage boost and the fact that Valkyrie was online, which is now burnt. So this is Snake's big push.
Oh, Asking getting in close to Onigod. Won't allow that grapple hook to connect. Self-destruct drops onto Christopher's head. It doesn't matter if he changes hit. Still won't negate that. Cage forcing out the resurrection in the middle of the chaos. Unfortunately, Angry Titans couldn't get onto it. Christopher charging in deep will take out his opposite man. And Asking finally turns up to the party with this Hanzo. Gets in the face, but Kodak, another bloodthirsty moment from him.
Seems to be the stories about a lot of the Zenyatas today. A lot of them getting pretty bloodthirsty in terms of their kills. Earlier on, it was all about Exo Wrath. Now, well, when someone's in your face, it's quite easy to left-click and just kick them in the face, and they die.
The hardest part about that high kick is definitely getting your leg off the floor, but if you're Zenyatta, you're already floating. You haven't, half the work's already done for you.
No effort there at all, is it really?
And a lot of these Zenyatas are making it look effortless. Now onto this next engagement. Here come Angry Titans, they're storming out. Luddy switched it up onto the Lucio to make sure they can contest before that checkpoint hits. 30 seconds remaining, and it's chaos over the point. Elivo taking the disguise with Heiko. He's got a pocket. Elivo hasn't. Earth Shadow comes down. Onigod going to die. Lolsish follows. Storm Arrow to clean up multiple members, and Christopher finding everything else. Snake's going to force the final phase of King's Row.
Asking's ultimate got 18 at the very start of that fight. He's already back to 80% with that Dragon Strike. He's being given so much room to just plow away with the Storm Arrow, with the standard bow as well, just to get this ult charge back online. Quite lucky for Snakes, to be honest with you, because that was the big ult they were riding on to win that fight, but it didn't matter. Still managed to push through and win the fight convincingly.
Rally being popped as they try to stem the flow of Angry Titans bursting into their defenses. Self-destruct and a Dragon Strike going to eliminate three members of the team. Asking accruing that ult so quickly was pivotal for Snakes to be able to push this forward. This is the pace they wanted to be keeping all round, and it only comes out in the final phase.
Few ults online for them before, about to come up for Angry Titans as well. They've lost a few fights on the bounce now. Not quite the convincing display we saw on the defense or on their attacking round, but they've still got that superior time bank on side. Here come the final few meters for this push.
Diving out, Lolsish lands the shatter, but it's sitting in a Transcendence. There's the charge to push Heiko into the team. Coalescence from Hayfox trying to be the boost that's needed. Shatter being answered in kind. Christopher finding Luddy. Elivo going down for Asking, and a heal or orb of healing will go out. Lolsish with the charge, finding Zapre. Heiko takes out Onigod. See Lulsish still sitting in the map. Dragon Strike gonna get eaten again, I believe. Unable to get that out onto the map. Snakes starting to take control of the kill feed. It's very staggered from Angry Titans. This could be them completing, and they managed to keep 20 seconds to their name.
Clearly, Elivo eating ult is a bad omen for Angry Titans, because both times he's eaten it, they have lost the fight in the following 5 seconds incredibly convincingly. Snakes really rallying around there. A bit of a rough push onto the first point. Still find themselves punished for that by being down in time compared to Angry Titans. And as always, we get to see Snakes go first because they have the lesser time back.
But hey, you got a 2-minute 20-second advantage over Snakes, so it's looking good for Angry Titans to be able to finish this out. But stranger things have happened than a full overtime push from these teams. Angry Titans have done it themselves on Gibraltar, an unstoppable train. Snakes might be able to replicate that on King's Row.
So you'd hope, but they had a very shaky first point attacks. They've got to get it right in one here, I feel, if they're going to get any kind of progress on this map to contest the Angry Titans push. Theirs was incredibly convincing. If you remember last time round, Snakes had that high ground defense with the Junkrat and the Orisa. They got wiped out by the dive when it came through from Angry Titans, and if it's that convincing again, they're going to have a solid, what, 2.5 minutes potentially to push deep into this map. They're not going to make it easy for Snakes, and I'd be sweating a bit under the collar right now if I were them.
Snakes really need to win this map as well, because even if it results in a draw, it will effectively be series point for Angry Titans moving into the 3rd map after half-time. So unless they come up with the win here, a draw will not do them, because they'll be in the exact same boat. Tall order, 2 minutes 20 seconds to burn through. Angry Titans, they're on the defense. They only have to do it for 1 minute.
Going over for the 3-3. First time we're seeing Snakes roll out with this competition. That's kind of an Angry Titans special going for the tank-heavy compositions, but they feel, you know what, guys, we've got to force the point here. We know what this 3-3 can do well. It can take space, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to march straight into the point.
Hey, it's free real estate. On point A, they're jumping down onto the point already, and Angry Titans raining down mayhem from above. Urki already getting the D-mech, and where's the commitment? Where are the bodies on the point? They're already picking them off from afar, really tenderizing them before they put them in the oven, bake them up, and make a glorious steak. Dragon Strike going through the entire point. Christopher taking out Lulsish, but the rest of his team has been dismantled. They really need to think about getting this reset fast, because 20 seconds is all they have to progress even further in this map.
And they have no ult online really to play with, to be honest. But on the other side, Urki had that Dragon Strike online in 34 seconds. Very, very impressive damage when the tank's got his bats through. That makes it quite easy, but only God finds asking. That could be the big thing that they are looking here to shut them out of this match.
That's a big yikes for Snakes. They're going to have to do this 5v6, or at least be able to stall out. Apex wants to hasten the victory a little bit. Getting a kill. Lulsish follows up another charge. Urki going to get that Storm Arrow onto Cave, and the self-destruct from Elivo. Sealed deal with Christopher. They won't even let asking on the point. No one can get through the barricade. Overtime ticking down, and it's not a lot of Angry Titans to get with that time remaining.
That kind of defense is exactly why you see an awful lot of double sniper on this first point, because with the angles you can set up, you just make it impossible for Orion to sit on the point and angle a shield one way and block all incoming damage. He's going to get hit from somewhere. Then it becomes a question of, can you out-heal the damage coming in onto the Rhine? The answer more often than not is no. There are a lot of damage coming in from the snipers. We mentioned the Zens earlier on as well. It's just an absolute nightmare trying to push in as a 3-3 comp, and that was a really well-played defense by the Angry Titans.
3 minutes 20, 60.2% to capture for the Angry Titans. They're on the offense this time around. We already see Snakes getting onto the field. Keep an asking on that Widowmaker, and they're going to run for the triple support still. They must feel confident with this setup, especially for defensive holds. Still yet to see what Angry Titans going to roll with, but they've had some great performances from Only God on Widowmaker. I don't know why you take him off that hero if it's doing wonders and you're expecting some kind of duels with asking.
Yeah, curious to see what Urki opts towards here, because they could roll, stick him in like a Brig or something and try and charge the point down, or stick him on a Hanzo as well and opt for your own double sniper. Now on the other side, they're only opting for the one, instead of putting Zephyr back onto the Brigitte. They're trying to go for that big hold, but with a big hold comes a big ask for it to work out. I'm not so convinced, Tridd.
I think they're taking a gamble with the potential that Angry Titans will run that full dive again and try and end this quick. So they want that extra resistance from Zephyr to help shut that down. I think that's what they're going for. Going to change it up. Urki obviously not sticking on that Torbil, and he's found a way to debate us beyond the spawn gates opening. Going to mix it up. No. Going on to the Brigitte. So they're running their own triple support, but they're going with the Goats composition.
They scouted it out. They saw them on the low ground and thought, great, this fits our playstyle so well. Let's go 3-3. Let's storm that point. Let's crush them here and now and take the series to 2-0.
They're betting on the fact they can clear it out before asking can immediately. Elivo jumps into space, defense matrix the last few shots, but there's the charge up time needed to take out the mech. Meanwhile, on the point. Bodies are falling to the floor. Urki's feeling very bloodthirsty on this Brigitte. The support, Luddy is getting involved. It's all been cleaned up. There's no hope of resistance. Angry Titans are going to go into the halftime with 2 maps to their name.
Great read of the situation, great defense with the double sniper to deal with the 3-3 and then to roll out with it themselves and show them how it's done. Well, great play by Angry Titans there and very, very impressive in the overtime, actually, more so than what I thought than what we saw in the regular moments. That's the kind of decisive stuff we saw from them last week. It's carrying on this week.
Not looking good for Snakes so far. We are, of course, going to take a halftime briefly. Hopefully they can have a bit of a morale talk with their backroom staff, because they have plenty of them to offer sage wisdom to hopefully get this team back on track. But I agree with what you said, Des. Great initiative there to analyze the situation, adapt perfectly to it. I want to find out what Annas think of that matchup, so we're going to take it over to them.